I grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi. My father grew up in New Brunswick, Canada, and came to the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the United States Air Force, Keesler. Met my mother from Pass Christian, whose family was in the fishing business, and the rest is history. Started dating my wife. We'll celebrate 39 years of marriage in November. We started dating in junior high school, and we were high school sweethearts. We got married in 1984, right out of college, and have two wonderful daughters. I think the greatest gift we could have given to one another is to bring those two daughters into our lives.
Hey, I'm from Morris Point, Mississippi. I grew up in Morris Point. I'm the oldest of three, and met my wife here at Southern Miss. Met her 42 years ago. We've been married 38 years now, and spent 30 years in the Army. And I say we spent 30 years in the Army because my family traveled with me all over the world. My son, Carlin III, and my daughter, Carlea, again, they traveled all around the world with me and my wife.
I grew up in Hattiesburg. My dad was the sports information director. My mother worked in the bookstore here. She was mainly worked the cash register. She knew every student in school. I married Liz Cleveland, Liz Baxter, and she was from Hattiesburg. And we have two children, Tyler, who attended here, and Annie, who went to school here. And Tyler's now a sports writer, and Annie is a third-year law student at Tulane.
I'm the most blessed person anywhere. I have two wonderful children, have 7 grandchildren, and we are very close as a family and have the opportunity to share our lives together.
I am from the Santee community near Bassfield, Mississippi, which is about 32 miles northeast of Hattiesburg, so in the rural countryside. My family life when I was growing up was very much oriented towards farm life. I come from a rural background, so our family has been in South Mississippi for many generations, since before it was a state. And we always, were very oriented towards growing things and for the market and visiting with family, and reunions were always a pretty remarkable event with lots of family coming in and coming home to Mississippi to visit. Kids who are all grown at this point and living literally all over the world.
I was born in Greensboro, North Carolina, and moved to Hattiesburg when I was in the 2nd grade, and graduated from Hattiesburg High before attending USM. I'm married to Pam Gillespie Waddle. She was a nursing major at USM and worked at Pearl River Community College for about 25 years, and just retired. And my kids are USM graduates, which we're very proud of. My kids are Benjamin Waddle. He is a sales team leader at Coca-Cola here in Hattiesburg. And Amanda is a veterinarian in Nashville, Tennessee. Benjamin just got married in July, and his wife, Shelby Moore, is at the DO school at William Carey and studying to be a doctor.
I grew up in Clinton, Mississippi, and I went to Clinton High School. I had an idyllic childhood where it was, of course, no computers, no cell phones, and it was playing football in the streets and hide and seek until it got dark, till your mom was screaming at you from the back door to come in for dinner.
I grew up in West Jackson, right on the edge of Jackson and Clinton, and then around the 7th grade or so moved to Clinton. Growing up, just fantastic parents and 2 brothers, and just grew up in that fantastic lifestyle back then. And
even though we were both from Clinton, never knew each other. And so our moms knew each other. We knew of each other, but I had never seen him, never met him. And we were in the art department.
I first started out at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College down the street in Perkiston. So started out there, and my friends and I would come up here to the games. And again, as I said, my wife was here as well. And so we would spend a lot of time up here over on the weekends. I got commissioned here in 1984 as a second lieutenant. I was first commissioned as a field artillery officer Then I rebranched into Signal Corps. Then my last career field was in the Adjutant General Corps, which is HR.
Southern had the faculty staff scholarship, and if you kept a, I think it was a B+ average, you could go for free. I missed it one time, and my dad wrote something down on a piece of paper and handed it to me and said, "This is the guy who does loans at Citizens Bank. Go get you a loan." So I never missed that. I never missed that 2.5 or 2.75 or whatever it was again.
You know, when I started in the business school, which I thoroughly loved and enjoyed business, I made it a goal to try to graduate as fast as I could. So I took 21 hours each semester, fall, winter, and summer. And I totally immersed myself in the School of Business. And I enjoyed that so much, and it was a great time for me to spend 2 years learning business.
USM at the time had a fantastic, and they still do, absolutely fantastic art department. And that was really kind of the first school I looked at to go to, was because of their art department.
I was very artistic and creative as well, and decided to go to Southern Miss because of the art program. And my best friend in high school, we decided to go together, and we were one of the first crew in Needham Arms. That was our dormitory down here. And so that's what brought me to Southern Miss, was their art department. And that's where Susan and I met, was in the art department.
I was a year ahead of Doug, and was already a cheerleader. And I was trying to recruit nice, big, strong guys to come try out for cheerleader. And I saw him in class, and I approached him and asked him if he'd be interested in trying out for cheerleader.
Told my dad that I quit in football, and I hadn't made the team, but I was at least trying out. And so I told him what I'd done. I quit football, and I'm going to be a cheerleader at Southern Miss. He was going, "You going to do what, boy?" He came to the first game and saw what we were doing on the field, and after the ball game, he came up to me. He goes, "Son, that's the best dang thing you ever did."
We were very fortunate at that time to be doing really, really well in athletics, primarily football. And I got a chance to watch some really, really great players play during that time. People like Reggie Collier and Sammy Winder and Hanford Dixon and Marvin Harvey. I think one of the best memories of athletics was during that time when we actually played Ole Miss and State 7 times during the time that I was a student there, and we won 6 of those 7 games. In fact, we never lost to Mississippi State.
There's no doubt that the most incredible thing I've ever seen was in 1970, I believe it was September 30th, 1970, when Southern Miss beat Ole Miss 30-14. Ole Miss was undefeated. Southern was really a pretty mediocre football team, to be honest. I was covering the game for the Hattiesburg American, and I was sitting beside my daddy, who I think that, with the possible exceptions of the birth of me and my brother Bobby, that might have been the happiest day of his life.
When I think of professors, I think of people like Dr. Tom Ivey, Dr. Bill Smith, Bill Vreeland, Alvin Williams, Dolly Lloyd. I got a business degree with an emphasis in marketing, and those were all my professors in the marketing organization, and I still have relationships with those that are still living today.
But I couldn't find what I really was so passionate about that it seemed to be the thing that really got me inspired. And then I took a human geography class with Dr. Jess McKee, and within moments of hearing him start lecturing with the pipe in his mouth, it wasn't lit, but he held that pipe in his mouth and talked around his pipe, and he was so excited about what the idea was of, how do you study humans, how do you bring them together in communities, how do you learn about things about people. It was like the sun came out, and I thought, this is it. And so I instantly changed my major to geography and started studying about how people live in their places in the world around us.
We had so many great professors back then. One of them was Dr. Hayward Anderson, who taught me accounting. And I've always appreciated what Dr. Anderson taught me about accounting. But more importantly, I liked what he taught me about life. I had 3 professors who I worked with, worked for, and became quite intimate in learning finance and in having the opportunity in my life at a young age to immerse myself in business. We had an expert like Dr. Dennis who did fundamental analysis of the stock market, technical analysis. We had a Dr. Roger King who taught me the practical part of finance. A Dr. Daniels, Donnie Daniels, who was so instrumental in banking. So it gave me not only a background of business, but candidly gave me a confidence that I would be able to compete in this world. And I'm grateful for that.
The gallery here that we're sitting in, all of the artwork here on the walls are from James Mead, who was a professor when
One of ours.
One of our professors at Southern when we were there in 75 to 79, and we walked in and we see his name and we're going, oh my gosh, it brings back such memories. And we certainly remember Mr. Mead. He was a great teacher and we enjoyed him so much, and we spent hours and hours in the art department.
Toga parties in Bond Hall, and also bonding with my fraternity as well. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
When I was a freshman at Southern, my dad came to me one day and said, son, I need you to do a favor. For me and P.W. Underwood was a football coach. He said, we need you to take freshman English with Ray Guy and Mike Dennery and get them through it. They got to pass freshman English this time to be eligible. I don't have to take freshman English. He said, you're going to take one for the team, son.
Delta Gamma Anchor Splash. And one of the things at Delta Gamma, they had a relay, a swimming relay, and I participated in that, didn't know anything about swimming. Got out there, swam as fast as I could, got to the end, couldn't get out of the pool and almost drowned. And one of the Delta Gammas had to pull me out of the water.
Where we were successful in getting Sigma Chi on campus. I was very familiar with that fraternity. My wife was a little sister at Mississippi State. My now 2 brother-in-laws were Sigma Chi's, and I knew of that fraternity's reputation, and I thought they could really, really make a difference in terms of our Greek structure. And so they were colonized when I was president. We were ultimately successful at getting them a full chapter on campus.
This gave me the foundation, and I had the confidence when I graduated here in 1984 that I could actually do anything that anybody asked me to do. And I think that started right here at Southern Miss.
I am president of Chatham University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My early days and my favorite professor, Dr. Jess McKee, who unfortunately recently passed, was from this area. You know, there's McKee's Rock nearby in Pittsburgh. His family's from here. And I remember as a very young person listening to him talk about Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania, and thinking that must be a very special place, and how he and his family would go back to Pittsburgh every summer and spend time here and in the area. And I just thought, it's got to be a special place. So when I came here to Chatham, it felt like that was sort of full circle for me to come to the place where my favorite professor, spent his early years.
We've always been really creative. We had got our degree in art, and we went on this little vacation to Jamaica in the early '80s with our best friends. It was one of those vacations where for $500 for 5 days, including airfare, hotel, and everything, we went to Jamaica.
I was in the straw market of Jamaica and saw a basket there that was really popular back home. It was a country type basket. And I held it up to Doug and I said, I paid $20 for a basket just like this back home. And he said, well, how much are you paying for it now? And I went, $2.
I ended up going back the following, I think during Thanksgiving, I believe, went to the bank and flew to Jamaica and met with some people there. And long story, complicated story, but long story, ended up importing baskets from Jamaica.
Spend a lot of time on the water. My mother's family were all fishermen in Pascagoula, and so I think my love for the water my love for boating really came from that side of the family. And so I don't talk about my wife's shoes, and she doesn't talk about my boats.
I kept part of my great-grandparents' farm in Mississippi, and so over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've been working on getting that back to sort of a working farm. On that farm, I have my donkeys, I have a goat, Mississippi's first native spirits craft distillery, which is about using products that we grow in Mississippi. That's where the name Native Spirits comes from. We just recently made a sweet potato moonshine. So from Mississippi sweet potatoes.
You know, now that I'm retired, I have more time to go to USM sporting events. Pam and I are going to the Appalachian State game in Boone, North Carolina at the end of October, and so we're looking forward to that.
I am a fox hunter. Whenever I'm in town, you'll find me on the back of a horse chasing after the hounds that are chasing after the game.
What I've done over the last few years is really gotten very involved with the USM Research Foundation. I was fortunate enough to get appointed to the foundation back in 2011 by Martha Saunders. And I serve as president of the Research Foundation and have done so for the last 10 years. And so most of what I've done to stay connected to the university is through the Research Foundation. We're actually shooting this video at the Gulf and Ship Island building, and probably in the background you can see our Gulf Blue initiative, and just created a lot of positive momentum for the university. And I'm very, very proud of how the Research Foundation has supported that whole effort.
I served as the USM Alumni President in 2013, 2014. I also served on the USM Foundation Board, the USM Athletic Council, and the School of Business Advisory Council as well.
We were a small part in helping with Joe Paul's student theater. He came and talked to us about it, and we helped out in a small way, and he said, oh, you know, there were the little plaque on the outside of the theater where you have people help donate and all, and in true Joe Paul form, he put the Doug and Susan Fasano Williams stage, letters this big going across the stage. We were so humbled and so amazing. It was amazing.
I think the university is enjoying tremendous positive momentum today. I think that by and large is illustrated by our new president and is brought about by Dr. Joe Paul.
Ask me. I think the university is in a good place. I think the current leadership is heading in the right direction. I hear that the enrollment is up, and everybody's having fun, and I think that's a good thing.
I cannot even begin to tell you how thrilled I am that my good friend Joe Paul is the president, and because I know how smart he is, and I also know how much he loves his place.
I am very blessed to have the ability, one, not only to be an alumnus, but two, is to be a member and a trustee of the institutions of higher learning. So I have been intimately involved with the university. And it's almost like sometimes I want to scream to people when they will make a comment about this school. Because out of 3,500 universities in this country, there are only 146 that are Research One universities. And that's Harvard, Yale, the University of Southern Mississippi. I don't think people realize what they have in this university. And of those 146, there's only a small number that do not have a professional school like law, medicine, veterinary. We have what we enjoy to be a research university, and I'm very proud of this school.
I really think that with their expertise and their interest in things like blue tech, which is ocean technology, and how do we protect and help enhance our ocean health of our oceans moving forward with all kinds of things that are happening in the environment, we need to be very mindful of that resource that the whole earth has as oceans. And I can think of nowhere else better positioned to do that than USM, and really proud of them for having that facility and making it one of the best.
We also are doing a better job of making sure that we're reaching out to the children and the grandchildren of USM alumni and making sure that we're recruiting those folks, and Joe is doing a great job with that in his departments, and I think the future is very bright under Joe Paul's leadership.
I bet I spent 2 hours going through the list of prior inductees, and it is an awfully select group. That's a group that I just don't, quite frankly, think I fit in, but I'm awfully honored that I'm a part of the group.
I am grateful for this honor, and I appreciate it. I realize how many students have graduated from this school, and to be inducted and to be able to be recognized is a wonderful event in my life, and I appreciate it.
Oh, I can't even, it's indescribable to be recognized by my university in this manner. It means the world to me.
It's a huge honor for me to be inducted to the USM Alumni Hall of Fame. A lot of great folks have come before me. A lot of great folks will come after me, and it's a huge honor, and something I've dreamed about pretty much all my career.
My gosh, we're very humbled and so happy to be part of this university. What a wonderful opportunity we've been given here.
That humbles us, and we're so appreciative. Thank you so much.
I am so thrilled and honored, and I'm humbled by this. I mean, just knowing the people that have come through USM and because of USM have achieved amazing things in life. There's so many, and so I'm very humbled that they thought I am deserving of this one, but also that, that hometown girl from rural Mississippi growing up on a farm could do this and could be inducted. It means a lot, and I hope it serves as some inspiration to others.
Well, I'm very humble. You know, Jerry called me, take that back, Jerry texted me, and I just so happened, I happened to be out for lunch, and he said, hey, give me a call, Colonel, when you get a chance. And it probably wasn't 5 minutes I gave Jerry a call, and he said, hey, Colonel, I just want to congratulate you. I said, did something happen? He said, no, you've been nominated and inducted into the Southern Miss Hall of Fame. And it's probably a good thing that I was at a red light, because I probably would have ran in the back of someone. I am just humbled and blown away that this opportunity has been granted, not just to me, but to my entire family.